Torchlight 2 Electric Boogaloo. Actually, Vela brought up an interesting topic. I know it's not on our agenda today, but I thought it was interesting and it might be worth just touching on. So, she posted a Stardew Valley is actually looking to hire programmers.
Yeah, I saw that.
And she just posed the question, what's the difference in working for an indie developer versus working for a non-indie, like for a mainstream developer?
Wow. I mean, that's potentially one of it. I mean, like, you know, when I ran my own company, we made very little money in salaries. And it was, you know, that was kind of like, you know, we oh wow, even some gold that was sitting out here still saved.
Huh.
Yeah, like none of the monsters are here, and oh nope.
Oh, a monster, the last of his kind.
Oh,
Some
I guess
are still here.
Yeah, I didn't loot all this stuff last when we played.
Wow, this game has pretty good world persistence save.
Oh, this is like a quest. Oh.
Oh yeah, I did this one.
That's the one you did. Okay, I was confused because I'm like, well, I didn't get the. Okay, you wandered over here.
Yeah.
Well, let me head back to town and because there's one bit that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Like Kirsten said, she assumes more of a corporative, close-knit work environment.
Yeah, I mean, so. You have marginally more job security at a larger company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say a whole lot, you know, because a lot of larger companies kind of famous for, you know, after a game releases, firing a lot of the people in order to, you know, save money because you know, they don't just have, when the leaves turn and you know, it's time for EA to fire a bunch of people. Small indies, you know, like you potentially get paid less. You know, you get like, you know, potentially get a lot less of the standard kind of what you call corporate benefits. Like, you know, we were small enough that I really couldn't offer insurance to people who worked for me. So you know, like, so we really didn't have any of that sort of we really didn't have any sort of that bonus when I ran near that studios.
And something you said before in the past, I imagine translates to this topic is, you know, indie is kind of a relative term.
Right. I mean, you know, like if you were to go work for example, Mojang before they got acquired by Microsoft, that was going to be a different experience than, you know, working for, you know, the creators of Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah, Chocofish is just one of those companies that tends to make hits in their own small little way.
Right.
Because like Starbound did relatively well. It wasn't a massive hit like Stardew Valley, but it's a good game.
Right.
And I think it's a relatively well-received game.
Right. And so, yeah, so I think, you know, the long and short of it is you can say that, you know, like working at a larger company is going to be a more corporate type environment.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good and bad. Like I said, you know, you marginally more job security, but it's, you know, it's hardly guaranteed. You have more potential for benefits. You probably have more regular pay.
Maybe
but,
slightly more stable.
Yeah, I mean, potentially slightly more stable. You know, as much as people might want it to, you know, EA's probably not gonna go out of business anytime soon.
Because I can imagine, like, when something goes wrong for an indie developer, like, there are people going, oh god, everything is horrible.
Well, I mean,
When something goes
right.
horrible in a more corporate setting, they'll go, okay, we'll just reconfigure.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, like for a lot of developers, they're potentially one you know failure away from having to close the doors. I mean, like look at Telltale, you know, like we talked about before. You know, they kind of they were, you know, a larger company. They were a larger company, but you know, that still didn't kind of save them from.
But a lot of that was just bad business decisions.
Well, kind of. I mean, a lot of that was basically being unable. Some of it was basically like being unable to really repeat the success. You know, they had this big success with The Walking Dead and some of their previous games. I mean, I don't want to discount the previous games, but they had this massive success with The Walking Dead.
Right. And they just put all their eggs in that basket.
Well, I mean, they did try to diversify. Like, you know, to be fair, they did try to do other things. They just didn't. They weren't successful.
Right.
You know, they did the Fable games, which is, you know, like which, you know, is a game that that didn't see the success of Walking Dead. They tried, you know, they did the Minecraft game.
They did Fable?
What was that?
They did Fable?
Not the Fable game. It was it's basically a Walking Dead storytelling game style based on this comic book called Fable, which is like, you know.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, not the Lionhead games.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what? No,
Yeah.
it's all good. They did a Batman game that I heard people actually. Well, I mean that's the issue. All their games were well received. They just didn't make money. They just didn't make money.
I mean, basically, like anytime a company has a success, you know, like they're looking to repeat that. Oh, watch out.
I know this topic wasn't on our thing, but I thought it was interesting when Velop posed the question. And you know, this entire podcast is about.
I mean, yeah, like if people kind of have interesting things to discuss.
Yeah.
But so like, you know, the advantage of a company like EA is that they're very diversified.
They got their sports games, they got their shooter games, they got their...
Right. And so yeah, like, you know, even if some game doesn't work out for them, you know, Madden or whatever.
They got their what's the term?
Cash cows.
Yeah.
Often kind of the less polite term for it, but yeah, like, you know,
they got their Mario parties.
Right. I mean, and that's, you know, that's kind of the advantage of any like a really big corporate game, you know, studio or publisher, like, especially publishers. You know, publishers are not, you know, generally kind of hold a lot of the tend to hold a lot of kind of the advantages in their hand. And so, you know, like, but, you know, developers tend to kind of be a lot more precarious. You know, like I said, you know, developers tend to kind of be one failure away from having problems, going out of business.
I'm just reading my passives real fast in my other trees.
but the flip side is, of course, is that usually, again, now it kind of depends on the developer, who's signing the paychecks and whatnot. Usually, a smaller company, you're going to get a lot more freedom. EA has layers of bureaucracy and people that will have planned out what's going to happen. There's a giant line of people that get to decide things like what games get made, how they're going to get made, and what's going to be the
priority project, and
right,
and which studio is going to get shut down that year.
Right. I mean, yeah. So and when you start talking about truly independent game developers, where they aren't relying on a on a publisher to kind of help them out,
like Toby Fox or Scott Cawthorn.
Right.
These truly independent developers that are literally making games on their own.
Right. And they kind of they tend to use publishing platforms or self-publish or sometimes I'll just go to a publisher for purely for distribution, which is less necessary these days.
Oh yeah, Scott Cawthorn, he literally self-publishes on Steam.
Right.
If he went through an actual publisher, there would be no way they would put up with his shit. Cause
what game? What's his game?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, okay.
No publisher would put up with his shit because he will upload spur of the moment, no announcements or anything. And like that's part of the appeal because you never know when his game's gonna pop up.
Right.
And then once it shows up on the store, everyone's just losing their mind. Like, holy shit, he did it!
Right.
He published or he uploaded 4 games in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 4 in like 6 months of each other, or some ridiculous number like that.
Right.
Without announcing a single game, and it sold like hotcakes.
Right. And it's great that works for him, but the flip side, of course, is as much as people like to badmouth publishers,
they have their uses.
A lot of developers kind of need publishers, to be frank.
No Man's Sky.
Well, I mean, yeah, or look at every the vast majority of Kickstarter projects,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I saw an article about Star Citizen when I was researching for today.
Yeah.
They added new mission types, and the article writer called it a free-to-play game.
I think that's what they're kind of trying to go for, is a free-to-play type model. I mean, obviously they're kind of they're taking people's money. They're offering stuff and taking people's money if they want to give it to them.
Right.
In the meantime,
just like I've never paired those two concepts together, Star Citizen and free to play. I went, well, wait a second.
What?
Are the ships like thousands of dollars?
Well, I mean, yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's one of those things where they but these are all optional things. Like in theory, as I understand it, and don't take me as an authoritative, word on this. The way I understand it is basically buying the ships early basically just makes it so that you don't have to earn them in the game, and you have essentially what's considered insurance on them.
Ooh, insurance. Oh wait, that's actually okay.
So.
Just think you're cool because you're tall. I don't know. Stupid joke. Anyways.
Oh.
I mean, that's like when Eve announced that they were making a free-to-play model.
I mean, it's a little different, because when you have a subscription game that goes free-to-play, because, as far as I understand it, you know, Eve is still still has a subscription.
Yeah, yeah. I remember reading the article about Eve going free to play, like years ago, and they were talking about how they were letting the players determine like what kind of accessibility free to play players would have in the game.
Mm.
Like it went up into like a player poll, what can free players do without a subscription? And I'm just like,
Right.
yeah, because the player community is going to be the most unbiased thing in the world. Found a spell scroll. Eve's free-to-play model puts substantial limits on how far the free-to-play. Yeah, that's what that's. Hi, Jajara. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, that's basically what we were talking about. Is that like Eve is basically their free to play model is essentially pretty restrictive. So
We have, he says the player base has undergone a cultural revolution, now has much more appreciation of noobs, which is understandable. You gotta have your workforce, your slave workforce.
right.
I'm just calling it how it is. Oh.
Well, I mean, yeah, you need the you need your what do you call it, the newbie hose.